Seventh-day Adventist Dress Reform by Ellen G. White. Hello, and I would like to welcome you once again to our message for the hour. I particularly thought of this topic because of the request by one of those who made comments on my video. Please know that I read your comments and thank you for them, for being respectful and kind in our forum here in this platform, so that we can share the light that was given to our early Adventists, the pioneers who were given the message by the Son of God, Jesus Christ. So today I would like to share the the article that Sister White wrote about dress reform. So this article you can access through this webpage, end-times-prophecy.org/dress-reform.pdf. I will put the link on the box below, and I will not read the whole article, but this is how it looks like: the dress reform, an appeal to the people and its behalf. So I'm very grateful for this free access to this article. So Sister Ellen G. White begins with, "We are not spiritualists." Now, this statement alone, with only 4 words, describes the longing and the desire of our reformers through the sentiments of Ellen G. White to be not be like the spiritualists during her time, during the late 1800s. And the reason for that, she gave on the next sentence: "We are Christian women, believing all the scriptures say of man's creation, his fall, his sufferings, and woes on account of continued transgression, and of his hope of redemption through Christ, and of his duty to glorify God in his body and spirit, which are his, in order to be saved. We do not wear the style of dress here represented to be odd, that we may attract notice. We do not differ from the common style of woman's dress for any such object. We choose to agree with others in theory and in practice, if we can do so, and at the same time be in harmony with the law of God and with the laws of our being. We believe it wrong to differ from others unless it be necessary to differ in order to be right. In bearing the cross of adopting the reform dress, we are led by a sense of duty." So you heard the first few sentences here of Sister Ellen G. White, and how she viewed the dress reform specifically by women during her time. But we can learn a lot from the principles she wrote here. And there are numbers here that I would just like to highlight. So just remember that we are not spiritualists. During her time, that was the popular medium of perhaps the religion in her in where she is. So today we still have modern spiritualists, and that means to say that even in dressing there is this channeling or messaging of fashion through spiritualists. So that is the first few paragraphs of Sister White's comment. Let me go to the numbering that she wrote. Number one, I'll just read the first sentence. Because it is not convenient. Okay, so this is in the state of things that people will get adoption of our style of dress is a bold step on our part, showing more independence than good taste. So because it is not convenient. Okay, and then here she is writing about the practical ways. So she said, we object to the popular style of women's dress. Number two, because it is not helpful. Okay. And then she enumerates the burdens and the practical reasons of health. And then let's go over this number three. Because under certain circumstances, it is, to say the least, not the most modest on account of exposures of the female form. This evil is greatly aggravated by the wearing of hoops during the time of the Victorian era. Let me show you how the Seventh-day Adventist looks like and how Ellen G. White looks like as I've searched this. So this is how she looks like, and you can tell that she is very modest and helpful and what do you call it? Practical. She is very respectable when she wear dress with colors, mostly black and some white stripe or a white something there on her neck. Okay, so this is how the couple looks like, Ellen G. White and James S. White. So as you can tell, that is their dress during their time. So how do we know if we are wearing the dress reform she recommends? And anyway, let's go back to this article. And now she's giving her wish to show in reference to the reform dress what it should be. It is convenient. The first three that I mentioned were the negative. Now it is convenient. About dress reform, it is helpful. Okay, and just bear with me here. Number three, I think I missed it. And anyhow, okay, I think that's covered. And then the Christian mother. Okay, now this number three, it is modest. So the three principles that she wrote, again, for the sake of it is convenient, it is helpful, and then the third, it is modest. Yes, we think it is the most modest and becoming style dress worn by women. If the reader thinks otherwise, will he please turn to this first page and again examine the figure there represented, and then tell us wherein this style of dress is faulty or becoming. True, it is not fashionable, but what of that? Fashions do not always come from heaven. Neither do they always come from the pure, the virtuous, and the good. Okay, you can read this if you are into finding the principle of the dress reform. This is the actual article that she wrote, and then I would this is from the Ellen G. White State Branch Office at Andrews University. So she wrote there her name in behalf of my sisters who adopt the reform dress, Ellen G. White, Greenville, Montcalm County, Michigan, April 1868. Now let's go to the few suggestions. I would like to focus here to read this. These are a few suggestions so that we can understand the the thoughts of Ellen G. White and also her sentiments. We recommend take note of the word recommend. The reform dress to all, we urge it upon none. We need to say recommendation versus urge. So, friends, it is recommended, but it is not urged. So, those who are urging to others reform dress to all, Sister White said she or their group of ladies do not urge. So, urge is more forceful. Recommend is like sisterly or a brotherly suggestion, or if it's best, if you like it, then what I mean is it was good for us, then you may try it and see or feel and experience if it is good for you. That kind of attitude. When Christian women see the wrongs of the fashionable style and the benefits of ours, and put it on from a sense of duty, and have the moral courage to wear it anywhere and everywhere, then will they feel at home in it and enjoy a satisfaction and blessing in trying to do right. Number 2 suggestion, but those who adopt the reform dress should ever bear in mind the fact that the power of fashion is terrible, especially probably as we interpret during her time in the 1860s, transported hundreds of years. I think the attitude is the same. What I mean, the nature of our dressing is the same. It's just it has more modern look, and it's just more revealing and more seductive, or more attracting attention. So she said here, should ever be in mind the fact that the power of fashion is terrible, and that in meeting this tyrant, she mentioned tyrant with the power of fashion. They need wisdom, humility, and patience. Wisdom to speak and act so as not to offend the slaves of fashion unnecessarily. And humility and patience to endure their frowns, their slight, and their reproachful speeches. Number 3, in view of existing prejudices against the reform dress, it becomes our duty in adopting it to avoid all those things which make it unnecessarily objectionable. It should reach to within 8 or 9 inches from the floor. The skirt of the dress should not be extended as with hoops. It should be as full as the long dress, with a proper amount of light skirts. The dress will fall properly and gracefully about the limbs. Anything 8 or 9 inches from the floor is not the dress reform. It should be cut by an approved pattern and fitted and made by directions from one who has experience in this style of dress. Number 4 suggestion. Taste should be manifested as to colors. Uniformity in this respect with those who adopt this style of dress is desirable so far as convenient, talking about the dress she was describing in this article, and I have not read it. What I mean, I have not read it to you. You can freely access this. I'm just giving this, I'm just reading this, or sharing this article so that you will have a perspective of her sentiments and her suggestions. Okay, let me read. Uniformity in this respect with those who adopt this style of dress is desirable so far as convenient. Complexion, however, may be taken into the account. Modest colors should be sought for. When figured colors are used, those that are large and fiery, showing vanity and shallow pride in those who choose them, should be avoided. And a fantastic taste in putting on different colors is bad, such as white sleeves and pants with a dark dress. Shawls and bonnets are not in as good taste with the reformed dress, as sacks and hats and caps in winter. Number 5, and be right yourselves, secure and maintain in all the duties and walks of life the heavenly adorning. The apostle speaks to the point. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 1 to 4. My dear sisters, such an ornament, such a course of life and conduct will give you influence for good on earth and be prized in heaven. Unless you can obtain and maintain this, I entreat you to lay off the reformed dress. Do not disgrace it with a want on your part of neatness, cleanliness, taste, order, sobriety, meekness, propriety, modesty, and devotion to your families and to your God. Be a recommendation and an ornament to the reformed dress, and let that be a recommendation and an ornament to you. EGW. That's the initials of Ellen G. White. So as you could see, or probably if you could read this again, Mrs. White is very reasonable and is very sensible as she recommends the dress reform. So once again, she does not urge to all, but she recommends to all the dress reform. Dress reform, friends, shows the content and the character inside of a person. So be not influenced by fashion or by what others say. Be influenced by the guiding principle of the scriptures. And for us, Seventh-day Adventist believers of the faith given in 1844, continued until the death of Sister Ellen G. White, and the church apostatized from then on until today. I call on those people who have the love for the truth to consider the benefits of representing Christ in your walk, in your talk, in your apparel, in your clothes that you wear, and also even the inward influence or the inward spirit should manifest the spirit of Christ in each and every one of us. So that is the article. You can access that article. I'll put the link below, and I'm sorry it's not exhaustive. I just want to point this article that it is free. There are so many other free articles of Ellen G. White that could be accessed online through this ministry and times-prophecy.org. So thank you to them. Thank you for those people who made this possible for us. So